Hey everybody, welcome to episode 91 of the Toys for Games podcast. We are recording this a little bit earlier than usual on Tuesday, October 4th, 2016. I am one of your hosts, home early for the day. I left work early just for this podcast because I am that dedicated to you guys, the listening audience. I am Josh Brown. I am joined by my co-host, as always, Jason Greer. Hi, Jason.
Good evening, Josh. How we doing? And don't lie to people. You'll take any excuse to get out of work. So
absolutely.
Don't act all high and mighty.
Yeah, no, I will leave work to podcast any day of the week, guaranteed. Fantastic to be here. It's going to be a fun cast because we have some very special guests joining us. It's evening for them. It's early afternoon for me. I'm not even going to lie and say it's evening. We have the team from the Lightseekers game that we've been talking about the last few weeks on this podcast. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves and say hi?
Sure. I'm Alan. I'm the video producer on Lightseekers. I present a lot of the videos and run around and interview a lot of people.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm senior designer on Lightseekers and all of the stuff we're working on around it.
I'm Jane. I'm head of community here at PlayFusion on Lightseekers.
And I'm Crow. I'm a community manager at Lightseekers.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having or for joining us. So I'm already getting confused. It's late over there. It's early over here. It's kind of messed up, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, you got to leave early, I see, and we got to stay really, really late. It's a good combination.
It's gonna work out fine. No, but thank you for joining us. We've been talking about Lightseekers since you guys introduced the game a couple weeks back. We've been very excited. Our community has been incredibly excited for it, and we knew we wanted to get you guys on this podcast to kind of explain firsthand what this game is, what the community that you're starting to build is like, this franchise, this property, this world that you're kind of developing. We're incredibly intrigued. We know our listening audience is as well. So I kind of just want to start out with a basic question for any new listeners we may have, or for those listeners who just drown out the voice of Jason and I on a weekly basis, but still listen. What is Lightseekers?
Chris, that's one for you for sure.
Okay, so Lightseekers is big. We define it as like an action-adventure RPG with the Toys to Life element, heavily involved throughout, as well as a AR experience as well that ties into the game. So the buzzword around the office is obviously like transmedia. So we've got like a game that communicates with all sorts of things. I don't know how far we've explained, so I've got to be careful with what I say on that front. But you'll see, at some point, obviously, you're going to see lots of cool stuff tomorrow on the Kickstarter for sure. But so the game is obviously massive. We're one of the things that we're really happy about how it differentiates itself from other mobile games is the fact it's more like an MMO in that the world is massive and it's not very level driven. So like usually you have like a little level that you start in where you get your quests or whatever, then you load into a very specific level for the dungeons or whatever. Whereas we're very much an open world and you can spend tablet session of like 10 to half an hour, 10 minutes to half an hour to walk around, or you can spend hours before you see like a load screen to another level. So it's really different to be doing that on a tablet and phone to like run around that long and do that much content, as well as the toys element, obviously. But the game is very different to standard games on tablet.
It's a real game. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
No, it's more immersive, and it helps us make the world more believable. It can be big, the characters can be memorable. It's not just level based. And then that's just that's part of the game. Obviously, a big, massive part of it is the toys or digital action figures, and they tie in ways that usually blow people away. It's never really ceased to get an amazing result out of an amazing reaction out of people, and hopefully that will be shown even more so in the Kickstarter tomorrow when we say the stuff I'm dodging talking about. But yeah.
So it's a giant platform that you guys are building here. There's a whole lot to unpack with just explaining what Lightseeker is. I kind of want to start out like with the roots of Lightseekers. How did this idea come to be? When did development start on this? Because we've only heard about it recently, but obviously you guys have been working hard on this for a while. I would assume this wasn't an overnight college project you guys threw together here.
I whipped up last weekend.
Yeah.
Not quite. Yeah, so it was over a year ago now that we started batting about ideas, thinking about the world we wanted to make, the game we wanted to make, how the figures were in a time. We started with the toys because obviously we didn't want that to be like a bolt-on to an RPG or like a game. We wanted to make it heavily integrated, so we start with the tech, we push the tech. As you've seen, as our figures are quite clever. They're not just figurines. So there's lots of stuff going on in the tech. We wanted to make sure that's integrated from the start. That's not to say the game requires toys, as we've said before. There is the aspect you don't have to have a toy because you want to make sure that people get into the game and they can enjoy it with or without. But we also want to make sure that it wasn't a bolted-on experience as a result of that. So we're very careful in regarding how we bring the design of what the toys do with the game, and making sure that doesn't compromise any gameplay. It just extends it, furthers it, and then obviously all the transmedia elements on top of that. Like the card game came around so organically, it's unbelievable. Me and Benny sort of went into a room to design part of the combat system for the game, and we sort of like looking at it on a whiteboard, and we're like, this would be a really good card game. So we sort of just printed out some cards on some paper, which was impossible to shuffle a deck with. But it worked pretty well, and stuff like that just took off. And then a week or two later, we had hundreds of cards, and we're playing it just before we came in here. It's come so far, but all of that's been integrated. So some stuff is organic, and it's very spur of the moment, excitement driven, and we show people and people get it. But then obviously it's had a long time in development as well, over a year now. So it's been a bit all over the place, a bit constantly busy.
It's been quite odd as well, isn't it? Because I think the guys have been working on it for so long, and now we're getting to talk about it. There's a real excitement in the studio because we're actually revealing so much about it now.
Well, the big problem right now is trying to remember exactly what we've told people.
We're allowed to say.
Yeah, we
just want to tell it all.
Sure.
Sit there kind of trying to remember exactly what questions we're allowed to answer.
Yeah.
We've seen that with other developers who will accidentally tell us something and then stop and think if they've said that somewhere else, or
are we allowed to announce this off the record if
Yeah, I was going to say about when you brought up the card game, that was interesting to see. I guess that was all designed in-house, because designing a game itself is difficult, and then when you're trying to design like a card game, a trading card game, that's a whole entire separate thing. So it's interesting to see you said about that was just all developed in-house. Was there people who designed like card games before, or is this something new for a lot of people?
Well, it's just myself and Benny who did the design. Benny's worked on a card game before. Obviously, we're both familiar with how they work, so we want to make sure it's unique and it's got standout things that differentiate from other card games. Because obviously, that's a thing, especially on mobile as well. But yeah, like I said, it came around really organically. Like we wanted to bring cards more to the forefront because when cards get involved with games, we didn't want it to be just throwaway. And one of the biggest things we wanted to was to make sure that the card game is a game as well. So like we've got the integration with the game, the main Lightseekers app, but we also want to make sure that it's not just you scan it in and this is what it does for the game. If I don't have access to the game, or for whatever reason, or if I just want to play cards, maybe that's not part of the brand that I'm interested in. The card game is very much like standalone. Obviously, with the digital card stuff and other products, it only works in game. You can't play some of these mechanics offline because they just don't translate to physical.
Right.
Whereas we've got a very cohesive experience where like the card game is. We find it very compelling and exciting, but like it's very much a strong offline experience. You don't need to play the game; you can play the card game.
Well, the number of different decks I've seen you and Benny building is crazy. We've literally got a cupboard here, and if you open it, it's just stock full of elastic band wrapped decks that
it's slowly getting into a mess where like we just keep making decks and we don't put them back in the right place.
It is like something out of A Beautiful Mind.
Right.
Like, looking at the way that you can play with these guys and you can just name a card and they'll tell you exactly what the what damage it does or what effects it can have. You don't even have to really play it. You can just say the name and just put it straight in a discard pile and they'll just tell you straight out what it does.
Yeah, but no, to the question there, it's obviously there's a time issue where we've got a lot to do with designing the mod game. It's not just like I said, the cards aren't just a bolt onto the game. It's a card game as well,
There's almost 400 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and then, it's a fully fledged card game. You can play offline, like I said, and there's unique mechanics in there that we're really excited about. So yeah, like it's just keeping control of everything, making sure they have in-game effects, making sure it works with the game, but then making sure all of it, each individual cards are balanced because you're obviously playing the cards against each other when you're not in the game. So it gets pretty intense. And like Alan was saying, we're still, the really exciting thing is, even though we know the cards inside out, we're still making decks that are exciting and like.
We sit and play at lunch, don't we?
Yeah. But Benny had 4 days off, in the last couple of days, and he was like, we were at home, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a deck for you on Tuesday, sort of thing. I unleashed it on him today, and I think we played 10 games. He's trying to take it down. So there's still exciting things for us, even though we played it constantly, in our lunch breaks and whatever, and testing it in session. So yeah, I'm hoping that's a really good angle for people to get involved with as well.
So when the idea for the card game kind of came to fruition, was it important from the beginning of that development cycle to make it a game that you could play without it being in game, so you could just play with a deck and friends and not have any connectivity to the mobile game? Was that important from the beginning, or was that just kind of realized as you started making these cards?
I'd say it was important from the beginning. We're sort of, like I said, it came around so organically. We just knew immediately it was a strength that would work with both, so we didn't want to lose that. And obviously, we're keen to look at making the game digital as well. And it was important that the mechanics translate to the digital, or they work both ways. So it wasn't a strict requirement, but we wanted to make sure it works, properly.
Sure.
Offline.
I would love to see the whiteboard of like this process where there's a decision of, okay, we're going to make this mobile game, and we're also going to have these figures that are toys to life, and then we're going to have like this card game over here that's going to play with this, but you don't have to. I'm sure there's other things around this bubble that haven't made it into the bubble yet. But like the expanse just right off the bat for this launch is kind of hard to wrap your head around,
Yeah,
there's a lot of walls covered in a lot of post-it notes around here.
Because obviously we're designers. Like, part of it is the brainstorm phase where we're thinking about mechanics, which turns into a card game or whatever happens.
Sure.
And so we do end up taking photos of our whiteboards, and we have to decipher them to document them for everyone else. And there's people that walk into a meeting room like, "What have you done?" It's like just pictures and like element icons and arrows point also. Yeah, some of the stuff gets a bit mental. We've got a good slideshow of whiteboard photos from the last year.
Do you have anyone in the office that just walks around and tells you no? Just stop doing that and focus on what you're supposed to be doing.
Maybe we need to employ that person.
Yeah, I think they just stay away.
Sure. So you mentioned early on that this game kind of started with the idea of it being a Toys to Life game with the figures. You really wanted to emphasize how great the figures are, how compatible they are with the game, but they're not necessary. What made you want to get into the Toys to Life genre?
Well, as we've covered in other Q&As and stuff, and as the toys hopefully demonstrate, it was the fact that we'd got the tech side of, not, obviously it develops over the course of the last year, but like the tech offering, and as I say tech, sorry, I mean like the figure, what the figure can do, how it, all of the new stuff it brings to the table, like the lights, the equipping of items and stuff. It's just, it's the innovation in the space that was, somewhat in a lull, and it was one of those things of like, it was such a strong, it's so different and so cohesive with the game. I think that was what sort of drove the direction of what we were doing. Just because it wasn't just make a Toys to Life game with what's out there. It was we've innovated in a new direction, and we've got all this new stuff, and it's the evolution of the current space, and that's we wanted to show people what we can do with that. Not just obviously you have to have games to support it. Sure. So I think that's where it was sort of came from, was just these amazing figures, and we want to showcase everything around them.
Yes, and from our community that we have here, there's a lot of people who enjoy the Toys Life game play, but a lot of those people just like the figure aspect of it as well. I mean, it's important for them to make it look, high quality on their shelf or whatever they're doing with it. And that's what I hear from a couple of people with that, because a lot of times you see these press release pictures like, oh, it looks kind of cool, but then the stuff you've shown in the actual final version per se of the figures, like how great they look like. It shows there the attention to detail, that this isn't like just something that you're doing for lack of better terms, like a cash grab, that some other people might feel like there's actually a lot of heart and passion put into the figures themselves.
You can genuinely sit around and watch these guys like talk about different different shades of paint.
Oh, I was going to do that answer, man.
Oh, well, that's an answer, Chris.
I was just going to say, I think you hit the nail on the head with the word passion, just because of like, I mean, we said in a Q&A yesterday, but for those people who didn't catch it, I mean, it's a tricky thing of this thing is we're all used to developing games, and like when you're making a game and something goes live, I mean, you can tweak models and stuff up to the last minute. You know, someone's like, oh, you do realize he's got 3 arms. Oh, damn, take that arm off, whatever. You know, there's this element of bug fixing because it's just digital. And one of the big things we had to get comfortable with was, you know, a year ago, we designed the characters we wanted to make into these first toys, Jax and Cora, and we had to be happy that, you know, this model is going to become physical. You know, there's no, oh, actually, I don't like her, you know, her equipment, or she's got, like, I don't like her back, or her fins on the top, or I don't like Jax's right hand, or whatever. It's like we had to be comfortable a year ago. So the amount of passion gone into that and the slight feedback tweaks along the way, you know, to have something locked down so far in the past but still be happy with it today, like that's a big ask. And then the amount of, you know, like the passion, again, that's just like the attention to detail the character guys have had from concept to modelling and feedback with the Tomy guys. It's insane, like the amount of people that are not used to designing toys. You know, we learn about articulation and wiring and paint ops, like, you know, how we distribute paint on a figure. Like, there's never been a thing for us before. We just put a texture on it, you know, and it's in game.
I'm talking about paint, he'll get too excited.
But yeah, I mean, it's all these new things. But like the guys just back and forth. They're like, you know, if we don't paint this bit and we chisel out the model, you know, the natural light in your room will make it look like a shadow, and we don't need a darker orange. You're like, you know, the amount of care and detail rather than just, you know, oh, it's orange. When you look at like Jax close up, and, you know, and Cora obviously, but like, you know, the amount of shading and just the detail, like you said, it's really, you know, it's a work of art.
Sure.
Long, hard thought and earned.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that one of the things that grabbed me from when we first heard about it, too, if you want to speak to a little bit about it, is that, you know, again, for a company like this who's trying to get going, that, and again, we talked about, you know, doing a trading card game, making these figures, like, are you doing too much? That you're getting a big company like Tommy to help produce the toys, is a huge aspect for a lot of people. I think when they saw it, first of all, like, oh wow, they're in this for a long haul. They're, you know, going where they need to go to make sure they get the high quality product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Tommy, like, obviously really renowned for their quality, and like, you know, hopefully that name carries, you know, quality with it. You know, it's not going to be a shoddy product. And as I said, yes, in the Q&A, it came up about, you know, they're built to last. You know, they have to test, you know, the electronics is good for, like, you know, thousands of cycles, and how many times you can clip the arm joints before they wear out. You know, I mean, there's a quality bar that they you know, they don't go under. So it's really good to have them as a partner.
Sure. Talking a little bit about the Toys to Life genre as a whole, Disney Infinity, you know, announced that they were no more earlier this year. It was a sad day for many people in our community, which encompasses all Toys to Life games and whatnot. Did that announcement affect you guys at all? Did it make you pause about possibly entering the Toys to Life space? Was that encouraging that, you know, one of the major games was leaving? Like, what was the reaction with you guys for that?
I don't think we were particularly fazed by it. Mark didn't seem to have a problem with it at all. You know, it was. I think it's because of the lull of innovation. I don't think if we were like making similar figures to Infinity, that would have been an alarm bell, I'm sure. But just how purely different our characters and figures are, I don't think it really phases us, because we know.
I think it kind of reinforced that we know.
Yeah, I think it's like people aren't interested in that anymore, or, you know, it wasn't working for that company specifically, maybe. But like, I think, you know we're going in a different direction. We're trying to do the next thing rather than making another version of the current. You know.
Sure.
So it didn't cause any issues with us really at all. I mean, we're all happy that we're not making that. You know. So
right.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask about, and this might be perfect for Jane over here. From the get-go, it has been very clear to everybody that you guys have this internal philosophy to focus on your community of fans that is starting to grow and, you know, gets bigger every day as more people become aware of this game and what it's about and whatnot. How did that philosophy kind of start? Was it, you know, something you guys focused on before you wanted to talk about the game, thinking we need to talk to the fans? Did that just kind of happen organically?
I think it's just the way that we've always worked. So Crow and I, we've worked together before, and gaming companies tend to sort of forget sometimes that they just need to actually talk to their community and find out what they actually want. There's no real secret sauce to it. It's,
just talk,
just talk, get feedback. It's that simple. And so we always knew that that's the way we were going to do that. And we're already looking at increasing the team because we're talking to everyone everywhere. So we love that. Yeah. That's not going to go away.
No, we've always been very sort of Twitter active, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. We make sure content everyone on the team has a Twitter. We want everybody really to be community managers, really.
Yeah, it's
whether
good to
you're
know
a designer or
good to know the community can sort of come straight to us and talk to us about things they like, things they don't like, and actually feel like they're part of the process.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not just going to get a kind of automatic response of
we don't do cut and
paste. Product, blah blah blah.
We don't do cut and paste. We don't do that at all. Every reply that we give is unique.
And it's really important for us as a company to listen anyway, because we can just charge forth saying we think we know what's best.
Yeah.
But if we don't and we're not listening to the community, then things aren't going to go great.
Exactly.
But just listening to the community, we can find out what we need to know from them, and we can make the game that you guys want. So it works in our favour too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I may be speaking for Jason here, but I think we're both have been incredibly impressed with just like your guys' online presence. I know our community specifically has been very impressed because, from the bigger companies, sometimes it's hard to get answers, sometimes it's hard to get information, sometimes it's impossible to get information about very basic things. So it's really refreshing to have somebody on the other side that wants to, bridge that gap between company and consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if we don't know the answers, we're surrounded by people that do. So, if we say to you, to anybody, I don't actually know, but I know someone that does, you better believe we'll be back with that answer, because we're within shouting distance of everyone. Literally, I'll shout across the office to Chris.
This is exciting for us, isn't it, really? People want to get answers from us, but at the same time, we like seeing how excited people get about product and, about Lightseekers. And, we're passionate to talk about it, as much as we want the players to be. So it's amazing to see something that all the guys here have made, that people are enjoying it so much already, and hopefully that's only going to grow as once the game's actually
released. I mean, the community's only seen a small portion really of the team so far, and everybody's really kind of chomping at the bit to get in front of the camera. Well, they might not know it. But no, they do. They want to get involved. They want to get on the forums. They want to do Q&As. They want to be on Reddit and do AMAs. So, I think you'll be seeing a lot more from the team.
Sure.
We're here smirking.
People are giving me funny looks.
We know how much they all want to be in front of the camera, don't we? They love it. They love it when I bring They love it when I bring the camera out.
I did. I was on live stream.
You were.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm. Of course, if you guys are all doing videos and Q&As and everything, then nobody's going to be finishing the game, which, is kind of counterproductive to everything we're hoping to get done here. So
Yeah.
There is a limit to how much
they do fend me off.
Bother people. Yeah.
Well, I see. Didn't one of the videos, didn't you get kicked out of the office too because you were distracting? I think that was a joke in the one video.
Yeah, that sounds.
That wasn't a joke.
Well, earlier in the discussion, you had mentioned the Kickstarter, which you guys just announced today would be happening. Before I toss it over to you to kind of explain a little bit about the Kickstarter, we actually got an email from one of our listeners. His name is Adam Tuttle. And this email is directed to you guys. He says, I just want to start off by saying thank you again for the signed concept art. I believe he won that from one of your contests that you had on Twitter. He said, are you able to give any details about the Kickstarter, as in what kind of tiers for backers, or what is the highest priced backer option? And then follow up: will the figures be in backers' hands by Christmas?
Wow, he knows the right question.
That's the drop the mic on us.
Our community goes straight for the gut.
Yeah.
Well,
we can definitely.
You
can get the PR answers. It's okay.
Yeah.
There's $1.
Good answer.
I won't go into the higher price ones because
there are some kind of the typical kind of Kickstarter kind of
the things
crazy ones.
Yeah,
but
the crazy ones that are on there.
With some nice stuff in them, though.
Oh yeah,
they are amazing packages. We do have one that we can mention, I guess, which was one that we've kind of, we've been listening to, what, everyone's been saying, and there's a couple of packages that are designed around that feedback, and there's an early bird package that you'll be able to get your hands on. Do you want to? I haven't got my glasses on.
Should we give this rundown, shall we?
Yeah.
Do you just want me to say this so that
because then I can
when we
blame
find
you.
out we weren't supposed to say this,
We'll just blame Alan.
So, our early bird pack is going to be it's going to include the game starter pack, which is made up of one of the action figures, a weapon for an action figure, 5 playing cards, what else is in there?
The thing you can't talk
the
about.
Thing we can't talk about.
I can't talk about.
Almost got it.
And the tribute card.
Oh, yeah,
the tribute card. And of course a charger for your action figure. So that's one part of what you'll get in the pack. You're also going to get some special in-game titles, a special VO clip.
Yep.
What's the special VO clip?
Well, because the toy can talk, and there'll be special VO lines for Kickstarter exclusive.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Some exclusive textures, so that's exclusive
That's in-game.
for your in-game character. Some exclusive headgear in-game for your character.
Yep, Kickstarter exclusive.
Yeah, you'll also get beta access, and what's this one, Chris?
I don't know, can I read your writing?
That's not my handwriting.
Name in the credits.
And of course, a name in the credits.
Oh, right.
So, and that's going to be priced at $50 for everything there. So hopefully people will see that as
That's a big discount on the actual starter pack alone.
There's a limited number of that one as well. I believe. I think it's 500. I think.
Yeah, I think it is. There's about
Maybe
500 of those available.
Yeah, I think it's about that.
Yeah, so it's a nice juicy package. That's just one. And
for $50, that's a sweet deal.
Yeah.
And there's higher and low ones that cater different things, but obviously can't really go into those right now.
They're not far away from finding out. There'll be lots of them for you to find out about tomorrow.
Yes, definitely.
And you guys will post that on all your.
To hit the page hard.
You guys will be linking the Kickstarter page, email, and your Facebook and Twitter and everything like that, I assume.
We'll be putting it everywhere.
We'll be flooding social media with it. Yeah.
Perfect.
And we'll be doing a live video on Facebook of the whole thing as well.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, from 5 p.m. tomorrow we'll be doing we're going to be doing a bit of a live stream starting at 5 p.m. our time tomorrow, so 9 a.m. for you guys. We're going up same time as the Kickstarter goes out. We're not quite sure how long we're going to go for, but we're going to get a load of the guys on the sofa that haven't been on yet, maybe talk to some artists, do a bit of a Q&A.
Yeah.
Really just, I don't know, we're going to kind of wing it a little bit, aren't we?
We just thought that we just...
probably torture me in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, we do like to punish Alan from time to time.
Sure.
He probably asked for
it. Do any of the higher priced Kickstarter packages allow for somebody to come hang out at the office and check out the whiteboards and whatnot? I'm just asking for a friend here. Just,
Yes.
They do actually, don't they?
Yes, they do.
That's putting it lightly as well.
Yeah. There's something really cool you can come and do at the office, but, we shouldn't talk about that as well.
Involves a tank.
Wow.
Well, you said it now,
Good
Joe,
resist. Good job. Jesus.
That's fantastic.
That's all right.
Jane.
Sorry. I could get thrown out.
Yeah.
So one question I know people are going to have, and it might have already come out with the announcement of the Kickstarter. With Kickstarter, people are worried that if it doesn't get backed fully, the game's still not going to happen. Is there any chance that we don't see Lightseekers based on the results of the Kickstarter?
I hope not.
Good.
No, I think everyone here is super passionate about getting the game out there. Obviously, we're already a long way through the development process, sure. And for us, Kickstarter is just a really great way to make even more links with the community. Links that are, hopefully when people actually have put some money into something, they feel even more invested in it. And we really want to get people's opinions about what they want to see in the game, where they want to see the game go, and how we can progress and make it even better. Obviously, this isn't a kind of one and done type game. It's continuing to update it, adding more content, and we're going to, I'm absolutely sure we're going to smash the Kickstarter. But we're not worried. We're not worried. We're going to, it's, never going to happen.
When you see the big dream we're trying to realise with the Kickstarter, I think we should be good.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of, as we keep kind of hinting at, there's more cool stuff.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That we
there's
haven't
so much more
spoken about yet, and we've been really biting our tongues to not talk about. We'll be glad tomorrow when we can actually really talk about.
Doesn't matter what you say,
everything.
yeah, it's all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think another big part of it, just to tack on to what Alan said, is like the community side of it is really important to us, and I think it's been peddled that the Kickstarter is like the start of the journey. So it's not just here's our game. Hope you enjoy it and join us. Like we just drop the game on everyone, and we hope they pick it up or buy the figures. It's just the start of the communication. So you can be there from the drive, get involved, back us from the start, and just join the journey and influence it on the way as well.
Right. I only asked the question because unfortunately there have been some games that have been funded through Kickstarter that either didn't live up to the original promises or took 3-4 years to actually develop, and people felt like they were funding the start of the development of the project. And I wanted to make sure you guys kind of explained that you were fully behind the development, you were out in front of it already, and
it's massively behind. It's definitely not going to be 3 years before you see this.
Not
a
chance.
Not getting
so this is a mobile game. Essentially, the root of Lightseekers is a mobile game. Is there any chance of seeing some sort of console version of this in the future?
Well, in the future, anything is possible. It's definitely on our radar. We don't want to ignore it. It's the same with PC as well.
Okay.
So I think it's just a matter of seeing exactly how many people want it. How long it'll take us to get there. But I don't think anything's off the table. Obviously, we want to make sure no one is excluded. So it's not. It'll be mobile focused to start, but we definitely have the intention of rolling it out to as many platforms as possible.
Okay. So it's more of a distant goal than we want to get this ready at launch type of thing.
Yeah. It'll be, but when we've got the launch, I think it'll be one of the things we look to focus on. We want to make, like I said, we just want to make sure we release the game to a good quality. We don't want to focus on how you get ports of games and it's not the true vision,
isn't it? And
you
don't want to spread too thin.
There's a team side, but we don't want to just be it's really good on mobile, then we just ported it so it works on consoles, and it's not the same experience. So we want to make sure we maintain the quality throughout the platforms. Which is something we're really keen on. Obviously, it's not just mobile tablets. It's this is a big game that works on a phone, and our min spec is quite min. So there's all sorts of considerations to have with that as well.
Excellent. We have another email from one of our listeners, Alex. This is for you guys. He says, and you guys could choose to answer this how you want. So I'm not going to put you on the spot here. I know it's late, so have fun with it if you want. Or don't answer it if legal says you shouldn't answer this question. I understand that also. But he says, if you could choose one Nintendo property to include in Lightseekers game with crossover characters, figures, levels, etc., which one would you pick and why?
He's going to regret not being there.
He'd be on Zelda, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'd say...
That would have been my choice.
I would have gone for Zelda as well, I'm going to be honest.
Big Zelda fans.
Yeah, you've got a lot of Zelda fans here.
A lot of influences from Zelda in the game, as we mentioned yesterday.
Nice.
I think that's probably definitely Benny's.
Yeah, it's
that.
back.
Yeah,
he's got his laptop background's Wind Waker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm trying to think of any other.
I think that's definitely I think that's a front runner.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm sure there's be some cool Pokemon that could be. Adapted.
God, you get the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Endless.
Yeah, that's a can of Pokemon. Yeah, God. Yeah, lots of Pokemon fans as well. I know someone in particular who'd love to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, damn, I can't talk about that. Sorry, yeah. Next question. God, that was close. Yeah.
So developing a game.
I'm not answering this one. I do agree with him.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. Do you guys get any chance to play other games? Do you just when you're done working, do you leave games altogether, or do you go and play something else? How does that work?
Oh,
hello?
Hi, you back?
Yeah. Hello?
Did we disappear?
We heard you. Can you hear us?
No. I hear you. Oh.
What the hell?
Hello?
Now you're back.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
Hello.
We lost you there for a second.
I love Skype. It's seamless.
It's weird.
We can't go an entire episode without having a problem with Skype. So, anyways, I was asking you guys. You work all day creating this game, creating this universe. It's video games all around, and toys and cards and whatnot. Do you guys go home and play video games? What games are you currently playing, or do you have other hobbies that have nothing to do with the video game industry?
I'm playing far too many ridiculously huge games at the moment. I managed to make the terrible idea of buying Witcher 3, Metal Gear Phantom Pain,
that's a bad
GTA 5, all at the same time. So I'm kind of jumping between all of them, and I don't know if I'll ever finish any of them. I know they are. I swear I put about 150 hours into Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight.
Yeah,
I'm on my third playthrough of it.
How? How have you got enough time for that?
Who knows?
There's a lot of very big, passionate gamers.
Yeah. The short answer is I'd say the majority of people, the massive majority, are probably playing games right now. Were playing games before they left.
They play games at their lunch break.
Yeah, play games on a lunch break. Some of the guys have got like a Transport Tycoon game going on at the moment on lunch. If you remember that game, which is awesome, by the way. More recently, I'm a bit of a Rocket League addict at the moment, I have to admit.
Okay.
I'm big on that. That's probably all I get to. I've been playing a bit of GTA 5 recently.
I do play a lot of Disney Infinity with my daughter as well.
True.
So she's a big fan of that. So she can't wait for this to come out. Like
Sure.
she's been play testing the card game quite a lot with myself. She can't wait for her friends to all be able to see the toys and get the toys, and she's well excited for it. So.
Yeah, I think everyone here is big gamers. Don't you play game?
Yeah, I'm a big sort of Uncharted fan.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm playing that as well. Jesus.
No wonder this game isn't done yet.
Yeah, but I'm also like sort of just tinkering around with sort of mobile games and stuff like that when I've got time. You go to bed and you say, right, I'm going to bed now, but actually you're going to bed to play games for about an hour. So yeah, that's generally me.
Sure. Mention, the daughter that's excited for Lightseekers to come out. Is there a target demographic that you're going for with Lightseekers? Are you aiming at kids and adults, the family aspect, or just whoever wants to play this?
I think it's quite mixed, really, isn't it? I mean, we found that the appeal seems to be quite broad. Like, the game has, obviously, because of the varying scale and difficulty in the game, kids can pick it up. I mean, we're looking at what sort of early teens to as sort of a starting point up to adults. I mean, as we say, because the scale and difficulty, you can make it quite easy so children can play it, but you can also really ramp up the difficulty if you want a proper challenge from the game. Yeah,
and we've also designed the figures to not be too alienating. We don't want them to be too kiddie. They should be cool, and the stuff they do should be interesting. So it's not childish. You shouldn't be ashamed to have, like we were talking about before, the quality of the figures so high. it's like, I mean, I'm quite happy to have them on my desk. I have like Gears of War characters and Tails and all sorts of stuff. I've got Barbies on my desk that someone put them. But
someone didn't put them there.
I was on holiday and they came back. I was there. Yeah. Anyway, we all have like game figures on our desk, like statuettes and Infinity, Skyline, all that stuff is around the office. And I think this is just one of those things like, I don't think anyone here is obviously ashamed to have these on their desk as well because they're just so high quality. They look as good as anything else you get out there.
To be fair, we're kind of all fighting over them at the moment. So, can I have them today? Can they sit on my desk today?
Trying to keep them so you can actually film them for long enough before they disappear off for somebody else to use them is an ongoing challenge, or they're journeying around the world. To go and be looked at.
We've been literally dying to show them, though, haven't we?
Yeah, we have been.
We've had them for a while, and
But on the age thing again, sorry, just it's aimed for like low teens and up, but it really seems to be quite. Well, we're quite happy because we want to make sure everyone is as inclusive as possible, regardless of age.
Okay.
So like Al said, like we've got the game. We keep saying it's like simple to pick up but harder to master. So like we don't want to make it really complex and difficult for like a younger person to play, but we also want to say like 20, 30-year-olds who want to play casual or be more hardcore, like they want a more hardcore experience like Dungeons and Combat. There's a button or a slider for them, and they can ramp it up. And then the figure side of it is obviously supported by that because everything's persistent in the physical as well. So you've actually got like a physical state of progression as well, which is kind of cool for us all to chase over. And there's tradable aspects that are hopefully appealing to all sorts of ages.
And I mean, there's a lot of leveling in there, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
scaling
loads of stuff
and customizing your character to try and like get the absolute best sort of skills.
And then obviously we're trying to push like it's not just combat. We've got lots of non-combat stuff. I mean, there's hundreds, aiming for thousands, of quest content that isn't just like kill stuff quests. The stuff to interact with, people to talk to, things to do around the world, like I said, which is a massive world just to explore, so you can just wander off as well. And then obviously there's the card game. The card game we don't want to be like because obviously card games can be quite polarizing for younger players because they might have lots of complicated rules. So again, we've sort of brought that mantra of like easy to pick up, harder to master there. So again, like you can play straightforward decks, have a quicker game like 5 to 15 minutes, or like you could build like a really complicated deck or try for these insane plays. Me and Benny, you can easily go into like half hour.
How long?
Or an hour.
We had
a multiplayer game.
Long game, didn't we?
Yeah, you can also play multiplayer, which is something we didn't say, the card game. So you can have as many players. We had a 6-player game that lasted like 2 hours. This is
that's
fun throughout.
It gets quite competitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially if you start hitting people you shouldn't be.
So that's really awesome with the card game that like there's multiple players being able to play. I don't think I've ever really played a trading card game like that, so I'm excited to see what that all play like. But again, it's nice to see that it's not like a quick 5-minute game, but there is some depth to it if you want to get that far into it.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of depth there.
Yeah, and people build decks for like one play that's going to happen half an hour in the future, and they're so and you're just messing them up every turn.
I like when you're pulling out other people's card decks. You were playing with one of Fred's decks, and you were like, I don't even know why he's built this deck. I don't even know what he's going for here.
It didn't work out for him, actually, to be honest. But yeah, no, the multiplayer thing, not to talk about the card game more, but like, yeah, I'm really happy about how that works. I mean, Benny is on the other side because he likes to plan the execution, and multiplayer's a bit more chaotic. Things don't go to plan. And like in multiplayer, we have some sour people that know they're going down and they just want to take people with them.
That is my route normally.
Yeah.
Wrapping up here really quickly, I do want to ask about I don't know how if you guys have noticed the figure customizing scene, like specifically like Amiibo and whatnot. There's a lot of talented artists out there that have taken the figures that they could buy in stores and customized them and made them into something different. As a developer of these sort of these toys and these figures, are you excited to see what artists could potentially do with the figures that you've put so many hours into creating and crafting and making sure the paint colors were the right shade and everything else? Or are you kind of a little bit skittish about it?
I want to see Jackson a top hat. Maybe a monocle. He'd look rather dashing.
He would look great in monocle.
That shocked Chris. I'd love to see some people that have kind of customised their
the figure itself.
Their figures. Yeah.
You know, awesome. I'd say the same. Yeah, I remember seeing like people. Someone bought like a low quality, like a budget Iron Man figure, and they just painted up to an insane quality, didn't they?
I've seen that.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Yeah, I'll be excited to see what people do. I keep wanting to paint some of the 3D prints we have, like put them in camo, you know.
Yeah, but I'm worried you put too much paint on them, it will just kind of melt through and they'll dissolve. I don't know what that stuff's like. But,
the 3D printing stuff.
Yeah, the 3D printing software, 3D printing.
Well, if you guys make toys, there's going to be people out there that want to create new works of art with them. So just be prepared. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. So,
Jane, did you actually take some of our early models down, like some of our prototypes down, and get them painted at the Games Workshop?
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
They came through, didn't they? I guess they were just all grey, so you took them out and got them painted by some of the model collectors down at the shops.
Yeah, I mean they they weren't used to sort of like painting figures so
scale,
big. Yeah, but they were like, we want to do more. We want to do more. They were almost like, we'll pay you to let us paint them. They were loving it. They loved it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, I mean, thank you guys so much for joining us. I want to give you guys the opportunity to tell everybody where they could follow everything that you guys have going on, what they need to sign up for in order to make sure they're getting the proper emails and notifications and all that good stuff. And just plug away here for a minute.
Who's doing the big plug?
Okay, well, I mean, the website is lightseekers.com.
It is.
You can follow us on Twitter at _Lightseekers. It's underscore first. Follow us on Facebook at Lightseekers Game. Same address for Instagram and for YouTube. And
subreddit.
Oh yeah, we've got the Reddit. I forgot about that. We've got Reddit at /r/Lightseekers. So that's nice and growing.
We got the Snapchat as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We made that one today. We now have the Snapchat of Lightseekers RPG. Annoyingly, Lightseekers was taken.
There's a lot of options. And from tomorrow, of course, the Kickstarter, which I don't know what the address for that will be, but go to Kickstarter and look up Lightseekers.
Check your emails, check the
Kickstarter. Yeah. We'll have the news post on the link on our website as well.
Yeah, I think the important thing is making sure that you're signed up, because we do give the people that have signed up on the website the heads up before anybody else. So it's definitely worth making sure that you've signed up there.
Excellent. Yeah, and of course we'll do the very best we can to promote the Kickstarter when it goes live and make sure everybody is aware of it from our community.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you for staying up late and having some fun with us on this interview. We look forward to seeing the progression of Lightseekers. We definitely look forward to finally getting to play it, and we're excited. We're genuinely excited for Lightseekers, and I hope you guys understand that. So
absolutely.
Very much.
I think that's the exciting thing, really, isn't it? Is there's people out there that are just as excited as we are, so it makes us worse.
It's awesome getting to watch people's YouTube videos and listening to podcasts about it and reading people's little things they write about it. It's, we're always looking for new stuff, and that's why we like to comment on other people's YouTube videos and stuff like that, because we're genuinely excited to watch the videos that other people are making.
There's generally a flurry of emails that go around as well.
Yeah,
have you seen this video? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Excellent. Well, thank you guys once again. It's been fun, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Yes, hope so.
Yeah, and you guys too.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
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 All right, that's the team from Lightseekers. A lot of cool information from that. We got an exclusive dish on a Kickstarter package. It's going to be revealed tomorrow, so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see what it is tomorrow. I'm excited to see the packages. The problem is it's gonna take me a while to decide which one to get.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll let us. Like, can we split one if we go for the high one?
Ooh.
Like,
if there's literally one where we get to go hang out with them in the UK office, that's going to be tempting.
I would say so. Or if we pay one of ourselves. Like, if we pay one way,
Sure. Yeah.
I think we can make it work.
Definitely. They're a fun team. I think they would be fun to hang out with for a little bit.
Super fun.
So again, Lightseekers, go follow them. We will definitely be tweeting out and letting you guys know when the Kickstarter goes live, how to jump in on that. The early bird packages, as we've seen before, Beasts of Balance is a perfect example. Those early bird specials go quick. So, jump on those. If you're interested in this game, it's definitely something to pay attention to going forward. Before we get much further, I'd like to thank our executive producer, as always, George Torres. Thanks, George, for bearing with us as we did that interview before we officially thanked you for being an executive producer of this fine program. Show sponsor, as always, Devin Lachinsky. You can follow him on YouTube. Go over to youtube.com/user/DLASCH2, the number 2. So yeah, that was a great interview with Lightseekers. We have some more news to talk about, Jason.
We always have more news.
Always have more news, but when we do interviews with people, we try to keep it somewhat professional. We like to pretend that we're professionals.
Pretend is more the accurate term.
Yeah. At least give the appearance of being professional in their presence. Once we hang up with them, look, I miss some banter here. Like, we usually start the show with some nonsense stories, and that has nothing to do with talking about anything we normally cover. We need to talk about some things here, buddy.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. So I bailed on Matt last night for the Harry Potter podcast, Tales from Godric's Hollow.
Sure.
Yeah. So I could go to a Blazer game. Portland Trail Blazers, basketball, NBA. Opening game of the preseason. Nothing exciting. I mean, it's preseason, right?
Sure.
But Portland, it's a big basketball town. It's not like Philly, where basketball is an afterthought and the basketball team buys esports to be relevant.
False. We just have so much sports. There's only so much love to go around.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you don't think of Philly and think, oh, that's a basketball city.
No.
I mean, maybe back in the day with Dr. J.
Sure.
But, I mean, AI, maybe, right?
Joel Embiid starting tonight, man. It's finally time.
Whew.
Ben Simmons is done for the year already, so good to go.
Sure. So Blazer game last night. My boss called me at about 5:45 or so, and one of my bosses, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to go to the Blazer game tonight? I'm not going to use my tickets. He has season tickets." Let me call you back real quick and see what I could manage. And so I text Matt first of all. Like, I don't even wait to talk to Val. I don't talk to anybody else. I'm just like, I need to ask Matt, because if anybody's going to be grumpy about me going to the basketball game tonight, it's going to be Matt.
It's Grumpy Matt, right?
Yeah, Grumpy Matt. Plus, I'm thinking I'll be home a little bit later than normal, but the guy stays up until like 5 a.m. on a regular basis and then wakes up at 7. I don't know how he does it, but he could record late, right? So I'm just going to tell him, hey, it's going to be a little bit later than usual. Turns out he's on his way to the big city, as he put it, to fly out to California first thing this morning for a wedding. Catalina wine mixer.
The Catalina wine mixer.
Going to Catalina Island. But so he just assumed that we would be recording normal time, that he was just going to do it from the hotel room, which is sketchy at best with hotel Wi-Fi, So I was like, well, sorry, buddy. This is this is NBA preseason basketball. I'm not going to pass this up.
This is legit as it comes, man.
Yeah, chill, Matt. Also, shout out to his wife, Becca, for texting for him while he was driving, trying to be safe on the road. I appreciate that, Matt. Although the wife is incredibly slow at texting because she's used to pushing the button 3 times, for a letter. Anyway, we got the communication done. I went to the basketball game. I took Val's oldest son, Chase. He's 13. It was his first Blazers game. I have used my boss's tickets before a couple seasons ago, and they're pretty good tickets. They're like 10 rows up behind one of the baskets, so pretty close, right?
Sure.
Sure. You get the atmosphere of being courtside, whatnot, but still mixed in with people. I assumed he had the same tickets. I usually with people when they have tickets that good, why would you go higher than that? You know,
Sure.
like those are pretty good. Why would you upgrade past that? So get there, park, walk into the arena, walk to the section that we have to go into and show the tickets. Which kudos to NBA. Or at least the Blazers. I'm sure it's a league-wide type of thing. But season tickets are now just on one debit card.
Oh.
Like just a plastic card with a barcode that they just scan, and then you just keep that year-round.
Sure.
Instead of having to print off tickets and killing trees and whatnot. Genius. How it took this long for that to happen, beyond me. So, show the guy our tickets, essentially, and he's like, okay, you need to go see that lady down there, and she will walk you to your seats. Huh, okay. Usually don't need people to walk me to my seat, but we'll see where this goes, right? I look at the row number, or the row letter, I should say, and it's AA. AA means the very front
back
row.
Mm.
Very front.
Typically, double A means you're in the back.
Oh, okay. Well, not at the Rose Garden, aka Moda Center. AA goes AA, BB, CC, DD, all the way up to double M or something, and then it starts at ABCD or something like that.
Weird.
Anyway, double A, we're right there on the court, on the floor. Like, nobody's sitting in front of us. We're seats 3 and 4, right on the baseline. Not the baseline, the side of the court on the camera side, so we're staring across the court to the player benches and the score table and whatnot. But
sure,
right there on the court, man, it was insane.
Did you talk trash?
No, because I'm way too close to this.
That's what you gotta try and get in their head.
If I'm a few rows back, I'm like, maybe I could get away with this, right?
Sure.
Right then and there.
Preseason basketball, man. You just gotta go.
I'm thinking, one bad pass, quote unquote bad pass,
go straight to your face.
Yeah, things could happen down there. But I was super concerned that I was going to accidentally trip somebody because my feet, I'm trying to tuck them up underneath the seat, but then I'm like looking down the row and everybody else is just kind of stretched out and hanging out. But I'm like, one of the players are just going to come crashing into my feet. It's going to be a whole thing. Like, I don't want to be on ESPN, not top 10. Like, there's some bad things that could happen with this. I'm not about to try to trip somebody. But just incredible to be that close to these players and hear the chatter that goes on between the players.
Sure.
To hear the discussions between the players and the refs, to hear the discussions between the refs themselves, which usually has nothing to do with about the game. One time they were talking about like the cheerleaders. I was like, okay, you guys are a little bit old. This is kind of weird. But like, it was an incredible experience, man.
That would be bizarre. I don't think I've sat like 2 rows at a baseball game, but that's different than court side.
Sure. And with baseball, you're still quite a ways away from the action,
sure. Right.
But this is like, at one point, Alan Crabb was taking an inbounds pass out, and I had to lean back because he's just right there in front of me. And I'm like, I'm in your personal bubble, but you're kind of in mine too. Like, could you slide over just a little bit here, buddy? Just bizarre, man.
I guarantee if I sit courtside, I'm going to get kicked out.
Oh, probably. Yeah. I was trying to mind my P's and Q's because they weren't my seats. I didn't want to ruin it for my boss. Like, I don't know how they track that kind of information.
Track it. He goes to scan in, your ticket's been revoked.
Like, sir, you're not allowed to sit down there anymore. Fun fact, Gordon Hayward on the Utah Jazz.
Yep.
Smells really good.
Huh.
He's a real nice smelling man.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Very, very clean cut. He has a nice suave haircut. It's in with the kids, I think. But yeah, he's a real nice smelling man. That's a weird thing to say, but that's how close I was to where I noticed that. He likes to hang out around the 3-point line, and that's about where we were sitting. And I was like, wow, as a basketball player, I'm very weirdly surprised by how good you smell right now.
Sure.
So even like after halftime type of thing. So, what a crazy experience, man.
He grew up from his dorky days at Butler.
He did, big time. Yeah, yeah. He's not a college kid anymore. He's he's a legit NBA player. Which not many people thought would happen when he came to the NBA.
Sure.
You know, he could have gone one way or the other. What was the Gonzaga kid?
Oh, right.
With the shaggy hair and the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget.
You know, could have gone. His career could have gone that way, and it didn't. So,
sure.
Props to him. But it's just, they're big guys. They're really big guys.
He's See, Gordon Hayward's a big. I think I read an article before. He's a big League of Legends player too.
Really?
True story.
Huh. How about that? There was actually one guy in the Blazers, which I didn't realize was on the Blazers. I paid attention to their big acquisitions in the off season. But one of them kind of slipped under the radar, and this guy's like 5'8", white kid. And when he was warming up with them, I was like, that's weird that they have a trainer out there, dressed in like their, warm up gear and whatnot. Like, why is he handling the basketballs? He should be like stretching out like their legs or something, because they have plenty of guys around them that do that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, he's on the team. I couldn't for the life of me tell you what his name was, but like when I saw him undress and get out to the court, I'm like, how about that? Didn't see that coming.
Does everybody else know he's out there?
I don't. Well, here's the thing. When he was sitting on the bench, he was in the second row of the bench.
Sure.
So, like, that's like a questionable status as it is. Like, that's usually where the injured players who, are dressed in their suit and ties sit. Not somebody who could potentially join the game.
Sure.
Yeah. Great experience, man.
Good. Have you seen that it's some comedy show, I think over in I don't think it's in England. I think it's like in France or something like that. But the guy like dresses up in like sports player uniforms and tries to get on the field. Have you seen these?
That sounds awesome.
He sneaks out there. He's like a comedian thing. So I think he's famous enough that most people know he's like not a threat kind of a thing.
Sure.
But like I remember the one he got on the soccer pitch, and he actually, every single soccer match they always take that pregame team photo, like who the starting lineup is.
Right.
He's like in that picture, because he's not in there, and did that, and then they will like kick him out and stuff. That's pretty funny.
That's awesome. I was eyeballing security, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like some of these guys are actually going to do anything if somebody rushes to the court. Like, I mean, maybe looks are deceiving, but some of them just don't look that. I can see why people would rush the court even with security surrounding them, because they're like, sure, I could take that guy. Yeah. Or I could at least avoid him.
I can outrun him.
Yeah, long enough, to get to where I need to get to.
Sure.
Yeah, so sorry, Matt. Blazers preseason.
Worth it.
Floor seats, totally worth it. How are you, my friend?
Doing pretty well.
How was your quiet weekend?
It was actually ended up being quiet. I kept thinking I was going to do Saturday morning. I was going to try and, since I was actually home, be productive and cut down some weeds and stuff and do some yard work for winter.
Sure.
And then it was it rained for 5 days straight here. And so I was like, well, it'll be a good time to do it because the ground will be soft and everything. And then I checked the weather, and it was like a 40% chance it was going to rain Saturday morning. Then I was like, well, guess I'm not even going to, attempt to do that. So I was like, well, I guess Heather, my sister, and her husband Mike were away, so Isaac and Joel were staying with my mom and dad. I was like, well, maybe I'll take them to the Lego store. And so I told Mom, I was like, I might do it if it's raining. And she's like, okay, it's fine. Ended up sleeping 10 and a half hours Friday night into Saturday. Nice. And then Saturday it wasn't raining at all, but it was 10 o'clock. So I was like, it's too late to start weeding anyway. So off we go to the Lego store. So I went to the Lego store. I watched some college football then with my friend Noah. Then Saturday, Sunday, what did I do? Oh, Sunday I was just doing some other house cleaning stuff, getting ready to the prize closet and stuff.
Sure.
Watching the NASCAR race and some football. I mean, there's no Eagles this weekend, so it's a boring day in the NFL.
I know. Who would you even watch?
Let's watch the Red Zone channel and hope something good happens.
I mean, Wentz isn't in the Red Zone consistently on his bye week, so
that's right.
Goodness,
dude, this weekend, his off bye week, he went out to North Dakota to his alma mater for homecoming weekend.
Okay.
And he was doing some endorsement deals for like the local businesses there.
Wow.
And then they had a game, I assume probably Saturday night, and he just sat in like the offensive coordinator's office with like a headset on and everything, where like the play call sheet, he wasn't doing anything. He was just, listening in.
Yeah.
The dude's just the best.
That's
and there's like pictures of him just playing catch in the park and stuff with kids.
Good for him.
Man. I love him so much.
Those are the kind of players we need in the NFL.
That's right.
Is he from North Dakota, or did he just go to college there?
No, he's from Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay. So I was thinking, for one, who would go to North Dakota just to go to college there, but two, once you got out of North Dakota, I would imagine you probably never want to go back to North Dakota.
Yeah. No, he didn't even start until his senior year of high school, and then he didn't get scouted much, so he went to North Dakota State, and he started there, what'd they say, like 21 games or something? Mm-hmm. If even that. Right. 16 games maybe. So, and all of a sudden he's number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft.
Sure. That's how it goes, man.
Never give up your dreams, kids.
It's like those USC quarterbacks.
Overrated. Where are any of them at?
Looking for jobs.
Where's Barkley at?
It's a good question. There should be a documentary on USC quarterbacks.
Dude, it's...
Carson Palmer still slinging it down in Arizona.
Yeah, just Carson Palmer. He was the start of it all, and he's still the only one.
Well, I mean, no one else could really top that, so... shout out to Samuel Bradford.
Barkley was signed to the Chicago Bears practice squad on September 4th. He was elevated to the active roster on September 22nd, because I guess
they realized they saw Jay Cutler as quarterback.
Yeah. They won a game without him. Dude.
Just saying.
Sam Bradford, man. I hope the Vikings win it all if the Eagles don't, just because the pure fact that you lose your starting quarterback and your best, like Adrian Peterson, and you still win.
Yeah. Sam Bradford, man.
Sammy Sleeves.
Vikings, Eagles, and Rams are all going to be in the playoffs this year.
Dude, I would say like a Vikings Eagles NFC Championship game would be the most intriguing thing in the world. The storylines of that, oh my gosh.
Well, just 3 of the 6 teams in the NFC playoffs, Sam Bradford has been a quarterback of in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. I think you saw too, like just the weirdness of the NFL this year. Going into this weekend, I think there was 5 undefeated teams still, and like 4 of them were starting new quarterbacks. Like, what in the world?
Yeah. Well, one of the teams has an incredible defense, aka Denver Broncos. So
Sydney's not bad though.
Yeah, you could go out there and probably still be undefeated for the Broncos. Just saying. Let's talk some toys.
I'll say it real quick. They had this discussion on the radio the other day. I think it was like $1,000. I think it started at $1,000, and then they ramped it up to like $10,000. But if someone paid you $1,000, would you go out and take an NFL quality hit? Like, would you just get walloped by a defender? Like, yeah, that's what you got a handoff and you had to run up the gut and just get walloped.
Legal hit.
Full
pads.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's what I said. Yeah. People were like, no. I was like, for $1,000, absolutely.
Worst case scenario, you break a rib or 2.
Yeah, I do it for $200, man.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
And then they're like $10,000. They said no. I'm like, $10,000?
No, not even necessary. I'll do it for $1,000.
Please.
Full pads and everything like that. Yeah.
I mean, if they said if you're going out, like if you had to do like a jet sweep, that's full speed.
Sure.
In the middle, you're just getting all piled up.
Yeah.
The worst part is just being on the bottom of the pile. But it's not really the hit. But if you're doing like a jet sweep and coming down and you get walloped on the sideline,
sure.
Then then I probably would die.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could limit like the speed of the defender coming at you, yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
Also, shout out to Penn State place kicker. I read a story about him today.
Joey Julius about his eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the man's amazing.
Incredible story. He's getting dangerously close to needing a documentary about him.
It's so funny. I think we talked about this last week too, but. He had the second loudest applause at the game I went to a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And then it was there, and it was again this week. There's people that sit front row that have his name chest painted across. Like there's no other we have a QB sign, but legit Joey Julius everybody's favorite player.
Sure.
He's not even the field goal kicker, just the place kicker.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, you can't make a documentary about him now because he's in school, and there's probably some NCAA regulations about that or whatever.
Sure.
But like, his story becomes more interesting every week, and whether or not he like makes it to the NFL or that's even what he wants to do, fascinating human, just overall.
Awesome.
Toys. Let's talk about toys, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and start with Amiibo. The Amiibo part of the podcast is sponsored by our friend Michael O'Driscoll. You could follow him on Twitter at Amiibo_museum. Kind of a out of the blue random news drop for Amiibo this week.
Yeah, we finally got the dates for the last 3 Super. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, wait a second, I missed something.
Yeah, so the rare Amiibo are getting some restocks at Best Buy. But yeah, this someone. Let me pull up the list here. But yeah, this is kind of interesting because we saw the CSPI, CSP, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
That thing.
That thing.
The one that all the Amiibo accounts tweets out.
Yeah, But yeah, so we assumed they were coming back, but not like this per se.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Best Buy is gonna have. Well, I guess they're coming everywhere, but Best Buy is the first one that acknowledged it. But you'll be able to get Lucina, Golden Mario, Pit. I should say that one for last. Lucina, Pit, Samus, Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Gold Mario, all coming back. Lucina is exclusively at Best Buy, so store exclusives back in action.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Drum up excitement for Amiibo by offering a store exclusive.
Shane Kitzman, you know what's up, man. But yeah, so they're all coming back October 14th. So I'm curious to see what this is. Like, are they going to be register locked? Like, like October 12th if they show up,
They can't be
I'm
register
serious.
locked.
You never know, man. You never know. But yeah, so it's just gonna be interesting there. I'm not even sure how much of this fame it's still up or if it's out of stock. I haven't even checked. But yeah, it's just super interesting.
The Gold Mario is disappointing.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I know it came out in Japan and it gave people an opportunity to get it, but that's the one that has still felt kind of special.
Sure. Yeah, they're all still up online.
Okay. Yeah, that's... If I could just walk into any store now and just buy a Gold Mario, like, all of a sudden, that means so little to me at this point.
And how many people care anymore as far as, like, that one goes? I
don't know. I don't know.
Like, the main characters, I understand, like, people that want the main, releases they couldn't get. But, like, Gold Mario, like, I think the people who, like, really, really, really wanted it, got it, or... are still, how many people are still looking eBay prices or even care that much anymore? Sure. Obviously, they care if it shows up, but I don't think anybody's losing sleep or not collecting Amiibo anymore. So, yeah, is what it is.
The rest of the restocks, though, is great for the customizing community, for sure. They're going to benefit the most from having these figures readily accessible once again.
Right. And it's just funny. It's just funny about this stuff because, again, it just shows that you can't please everybody, kind of a thing.
Right.
I mean, there's people still upset about the, although it's separate discussion, like Supergirl and the Green Arrow, and that they're like, well, I'm okay with exclusives. They just have to be variant a little bit, not core characters. And they make a Gold Mario, and people are like, well, it's not fair that like we couldn't get any of them. It's just like, all right, what do you want?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Trying to predict what Amiibo fans want or like or need is pretty much impossible at this point. So,
also, I want to take a break here real quick.
Yeah.
Sixers started their preseason tonight.
Ooh.
It's currently 15-5, Boston winning.
Naturally, yeah.
Good old Sixers already.
It's a good start for the Sixers already.
Yeah,
5 points.
No doubt. Yeah, well, that's true. 5-0.
That means somebody hit 3, I would think.
I think they took him beat off the floor already. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, save them. Space them out.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Don't want to show the opponents too much,
Yeah. Amiibo restocks happening, so exciting to see that for those who haven't been able to pick those up.
Yeah, definitely. I was just noticing the other day at Toys R Us how, like, I just glanced at the Amiibo section, which hasn't moved. They haven't moved Amiibo over to the rest of the Toys to Life. They're still in the same place. But, like, I just looked at the wall of them, and I'm like, I kind of like seeing all these different amiibo scattered around on different pegs, you know? Like, it feels like the way it should have to begin with.
Sure.
You know, sure, it made it more exciting, but, like, I see a Ryu, and I see a Shovel Knight, and Splatoon, and there's a Yarn Yoshi, and, you know, all these different ones that are just randomly up there with no rhyme or reason. It's like, I like that. That's cool, you know? That encourages kids to walk in and be like, there is a sea of options here that I could choose from, and they could.
Can't believe you did that.
I know. I have to. It's I can't stop thinking about that term, dude.
When Matt put it in his headline, I was like, I don't know if I should be mad at you or laugh at, give you a tip of the hat.
Both is fair.
Well done. Well done, though, Matt.
Yeah.
Well done.
As always, Matt. Well done.
But yeah, and then the other thing this week, again, we got more pictures of the Monster Hunter Stories amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
Picture of those, the 2 dragon ones and the cat thing. Not Navirio,
No, I think you nailed it the first time.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they're like, I guess they're trying to match the boxes up somewhat because it's still like this obnoxious. Well, I guess it's more the standard box size, but it just looks dwarfed compared to the other boxes.
Yep.
And then the new Super Mario Brothers line's coming out early in Europe, so we got some pictures of those where people got their hands on that. But excited to see that. Ready to get that boo.
Yeah. When did they come out again?
In here?
In November, right?
Yeah, it's November 4th.
Okay, that's what I thought. Getting close.
November 4th, yep. That's what it was.
What,
Okay.
did you have November 4th in your head and you couldn't figure out why?
Yes.
Is that also Election Day?
No, that's Friday. November 1st is Election Day.
A Friday?
No, November 1st is Election Day. I'm saying that's why it's not November 4th.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought Election Day was a Tuesday.
That's why I asked Mom. I was like, she said it's like November 4th. So November 4th was Election Day, I think, the last time. So I think that's why I let 6 around people's. But she's like, is that Election Day? I'm like, no, it's Friday. She's like, when is it? No, that's what I was originally said. I was going to Ohio on the 11th. And she's like, isn't that Election Day? I'm like, Mom, Election Day is the first Tuesday in November.
Yep.
In what planet could the first Tuesday in November be the 11th?
I just always remember because somehow Halos always seem to coincide with election days.
Yep.
Go and vote, get your I voted sticker, and then go pick up your pre-ordered copy of Halo. So
that reminds me, I need to buy those. I think I told you before, my precinct never has the stickers.
Yeah, you were going to buy them for them, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm going to make sure I buy those tonight, and then I'm just going to show up with them.
Yeah, you're running out of time, my friend.
Oh, please. Amazon Prime.
Let's move over to Lego Dimensions, shall we?
Let's do it.
Lego Dimensions, part of the podcast, is sponsored by our friend James Holian, also in the UK. Shout out to James, holding it down over there. You can find him on Twitter at Infinity Museum.
Can I? Sorry.
Yeah, of course you can.
Can I give him a shout out?
Please do.
So, Lego Dimensions today put out a thing, a retweet, and you.
Yes.
And and so you retweeted as your chance to win a Green Arrow figure. And I saw James retweeted it before I got a chance to quote it because it was out retweeting. I quoted it. And I put out some like, if you're in the US and 13 and older, retweet this and you have a chance to win.
Yep.
James Holian undoes his retweet just to be that in the tweets I'm saying, like, considering Lego's a European company and his game is made in the UK, but selfish having the competition US only. So it's fine to the tweet, but I just like that he undid his retweet. You show him what's up, James. You show him what's up.
Take that number back.
Love it, James.
That's the only way change happens is by creating change to begin with. Lego Dimensions. We've had a week since Wave 6 released. How has the release of Wave 6 been? For you personally and for people out there?
Wave 6 has been pretty good. Did jump in a little bit this weekend. Played like 15 minutes. But enjoyed it. People being a lot of positive feedback on the Mission Impossible level pack. A lot of people enjoying that. I think Kotaku even wrote an article about how it's the best pack they've released ever.
I would love to enjoy it.
Yeah,
but I can't finish it. I found a bug. breaks it. I can't advance at all. I tweeted out a picture, and of course, our good friend Matt jumped on it. He was like, I can't give you any more information without seeing it in action. I'm like, well, the picture clearly shows what the problem is here, Matt. But, fine, I'll make a video clip for you, and I'll put it out there also.
Sure.
Then he tried to help me troubleshoot. I'm like, this is the second time I've played through. I start to that point. I started the entire level pack over twice. Played through it completely. And on one night and then the following day. And I get to the point where I'm supposed to open up an elevator shaft and then jump through and like get to like the end of the level by, dangling down the elevator shaft and doing the whole cool Mission Impossible thing. And it won't open for me. It's just flat out broken. And it upsets me a little bit.
I'd be upset.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix it either because I've started it completely over. So
yeah. They see, because Lego games are one, like, I enjoy them, don't get me wrong, but like they're one of the games too that like when I get to a certain point, I'm like, I really don't feel like doing this over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so still a lot of bugs in there with some places. I know a couple patches been coming out, so hopefully that gets all resolved sooner rather than later. And again, it's not like it's affecting a majority of people, but it's affecting more than, as far as I could really tell, beyond the initial. I don't even feel like the initial launch wave had this many issues. Well,
no,
false.
Yeah.
I take that back. I remember I was glitching like crazy. But yeah, it's like we said before, it's just weird how it's all going. But
yeah,
we shall see. But still having fun with it.
Yep. I also have a request in to get my Abby Yates toy tag replaced. That's still unfortunate that I can't play that.
Sure. Hope you get a tag of somebody else back, like an unreleased character.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Did you see that article I posted about the Xbox One a couple weeks ago?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Guy, his laptop broke, so he sent it in to get repaired.
Okay.
And they sent him back a package, and it was like bigger than what he thought it was going to be. So he opened it up, and it was the Xbox One 2 months before they were going to announce it.
Oh wow. Whoops.
So he's like, what is this? So he has pictures of it. They just posted it. Like, they just did the article a couple weeks ago because now, like, now it's just an interesting story. It's not like there's any harm done with it. But it's like it has the zebra patterns on it, so you can identify. If someone tries to leak that picture, you can see which system it is.
Right.
But it's just like there's a picture of him plugging in, booting it up. But like he had no games way of doing anything with it. But like, could you imagine that? Like, what the heck is this?
Right, especially an unannounced thing.
Yeah. And I forget what they gave him back. Like, it was something real lame too, like a couple months of Xbox Live or something.
Sure, a T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd hold out on that. Like, I'll link this junk.
I wonder if there's a debug kit.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, forget your laptop, go buy a new one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's gold right there that you have.
But yeah, for late dimensions, other stuff that's going on. They sent out a picture late Sunday night of the first image of the Sloth minifigure.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we've already seen it in the conceptual promotional art, but this is the first time we've seen it in the actual physical world of it. So pretty cool looking. Still awesome. Love the headpiece mold.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad. At first, I didn't like the hair piece, for lack of a better term, on it, which they did a unique mold. But I was like, I actually like it this way better.
Yeah.
Because then you could use it for something else if you wanted to. It's not like it's always Sloth. You can use it, if you just want some guy to have the crazy face too.
Sure. Yeah.
so
Someone dressed
cool
as Sloth.
Yeah. So pretty cool. You can check that out there at brickinquiry.com. And then the other interesting news came out of an interview with nzgamer.com.
Yep.
And this one was talking about Wave 9 and Wave 8 that's coming out next year. Just giving a little bit of clear details for what's going on. They did confirm that Wave 7.5 was, in fact, supposed to be Wave 8, and they were going to aim for a March release, but then they're like, well, it'd be stupid to release Lego Batman that late, so why don't we just move it up here? But I guess they wanted something. They said they wanted to release something in March. So I don't know if something's coming out in March that we don't know about, and they're trying to compete with that, or they're just thinking general spacing wise with like school or stuff. I don't really know, but they're aiming for March, so they're like, well, why don't we just split it in half? So 7.5 again, we already found out it's coming out in February, and then Wave 8 will be coming out in March. So essentially, it's going to be the second half. So some people are like, oh, it's a bummer. It's going to be 2 small waves. Well, not really. You're just getting the same wave, just in half. So
sure.
It's not,
yeah.
It's not really 2 waves.
Yeah.
2 small waves. But they didn't really detail on that, so we assume that's when the Goonies level pack will be coming, and probably the Lego Chase McCain fun pack as well will be in Wave 8. And then in Wave 9, which they did not date yet, but they did say that is when we're getting Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls, and Beetlejuice all coming out in that wave. So and then the other interesting thing is that they did confirm molds, plural, will be coming for Powerpuff Girls. That they're saying about the head molds are actually going to be unique molds, not just standard Lego heads. It's the first time they're making whatever, I guess they're just making the Powerpuff Girl head. So it sounds like there could be multiple minifigures, but obviously you could also be talking about the in-game render of them as well.
Sure.
But
do you think we could see a level pack and a team pack then?
That's what some people think are. In my opinion, I think it's big enough to warrant all 3 of them coming out, and I think people would buy all 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's will they play differently and stuff like that to warrant that? That's
right.
That's a question in itself. But I could see from a purchase standpoint, it going out there like the new Ghostbusters team or even the old Ghostbusters team. People would buy them all, but I don't think people would be going out in droves necessarily to buy them all. But
right.
Powerpuff Girls, you just feel like you need the set,
sure. And with the Ghostbusters, like they would all essentially play the same. Like
right.
At least with the Powerpuff Girls, you have the opportunity to make them play a little bit differently.
Sure.
Similar to like Adventure Time,
Right.
We got several characters from Adventure Time, but they all are very different types of characters that play completely different. So,
yeah. So yeah, I'm curious to see on there, but again, I'm excited. I'm glad they're doing the mold, like I said, head molds. That's good to see. Again, makes that a little bit more unique. So exciting for that.
So do you think May?
That's what my logic would say. And then we said, I guess list of credits is a typo. We saw Wave 10 coming, which would put it in like July timeframe, and then that would put them back in course, make September. That's what I think. I just logically do. Just do it every 2 months.
Yeah.
Fast enough and slow enough at the same time.
Right.
So.
Fascinating. Indeed. Anything else with Lego Dimensions?
Nope.
All right. Let's get to the big news of the week here.
Let's take a break real quick.
Let's take a break. All right, and we are back. Thank you for holding briefly. I'm sure whatever fantastic music I decided to throw in the middle of this podcast did you well. But now it's time to talk about the exciting news of the week, the biggest news of the week by far. Skylanders Imaginators. And of course, Skylanders is sponsored by our dear friend Matt Sonnenberg. You can find on Twitter at SCLMatt, or on Twitter, Matter of Matt, or As a Matter of Matt. As a Matter of Matt on Twitter. I can't, because he has As a Matter of Matt as a Twitter handle, but then he has matterofmatt.com, and he also has As a Matter of Matt.com. Right. But he also has SCLMatt.com. He's cornering the market for Matts.com.
I feel like we should just make an offer to Matter of Matt on Twitter.
I think so.
See if we can buy it.
We could probably get
it. I think so.
We do cruel and unusual things with that Twitter account, I'm sure.
I mean, the guy's retweeting tweets from 2010, so obviously he doesn't know how to use Twitter.
What a shame. What a shame. Skylanders, big news drop.
Yes.
What do we have?
Yeah, so we finally got the details in full of how they're going to bring your imagination to life and actual physical terms.
Look at that buzzword.
Right? So they as we talked about before, that there was a chance it looked like that they were going to allow you to bring figures to life, but they're going to do so much more than that. So you can indeed create your creation and turn it into a figure, a physical 3D modeled printed or 3D printed figure. You capture to your house. That is fully functional in the game, which we'll get to that in a second here. And then also a card version. So if you want to just, don't want to spend as much for the figure, but just release the actual card. Same functionality, you get a picture of your character, and again, it can be played in game. And then finally, if you're like, hey, my guy looks legit, and you want to advertise that, you can get it on a t-shirt. Or in that obviously does not have Toys Life functionality, but is still cool nonetheless. So first off, actually we'll start at the bottom. We'll work our way up.
Sure.
For the t-shirt there, so it's $25. You get a picture of your figure. I don't know if you get to choose a pose or anything like that. But you get on there and you get the name, battle class, and element type. So it's the name on the bottom, and then on the left side is a picture of, I think it's the battle class, or might be the element, and on the right side is the icon for the opposite thing. So nice there. Choose different colors that show off, like white and dark blue and things like that. So I'm sure there's different color options that you can get. It's $25 plus shipping for that. So people are like, why doesn't it have Toys Life functionality? Because you can't put an NFC chip through the washing machine. So
can you?
So you cannot.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll get ruined in that heat.
Probably.
Not the washer, it would definitely be the heat. But it's still cool there. If you want to order something like that. I'm just curious to see how all that's going to go. I already have some ideas for some like prank things I want to get. So
oh yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Nice.
There's also going to be a card version for $15. As I said, it has your picture on it of your character, your catchphrase, the name, and then obviously the element and battle class as well. $15. If you're in the U.S., it is included. Shipping is included. If you live internationally, there will be shipping charges in addition to the $15. So fortunate if you're overseas, but at least it's better than not having it. So
yeah,
they just wanted to pay the shipping charges there.
Sure.
But again, that is fully functional on the element aspect, so you can put it on there and play as that character. It is customizable then, so if you want to swap stuff out, you can still edit it just like as it was a normal figure. But obviously, typically you just probably want to make it your finalized version, because that's what it's going to be the picture of. So that's the hard part of it all. And that is an unlimited thing. So that's, those in the t-shirts, they're going to offer that for, as long as the service is being offered.
Sure. I did appreciate the fact that you could change everything about your character with the card.
Right.
Does that include battle class?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure. Because all it's doing is just saving your, just take you back to the same menu.
Yeah.
As your character is.
I guess
so. Because it's just going to be recognizing it as a creation crystal per se.
Okay. I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, because some people are saying like there was a YouTube comment, this explains why they're locked. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Why? Just because they want you to make the icon on your card? I'm like, that's not an excuse at all.
Right.
But yeah, so the figure you can get is $50, 50. Again, includes free shipping in North America, shipping charges again internationally. Quantities will be limited for this, but they said they did do their due diligence and research to try and find the best 3D printer that they could find. They're happy with the one that they got picked out here. But yeah, so you can choose your figure out there. It comes out in a pose, but it's not just the figure itself. It comes in a case, which is pretty cool. The case itself doesn't scream Skylanders to me. The figure does. Like, it looks like it's kind of a figure, but the case itself just looks like a
generic
weird add-on thing to it. But again, it might just be because the shipping company, that's the only thing that the 3D printer company can put on or something. I don't know. Just as far as what they can do, because obviously, because that's what I said too. It's a bummer that you don't get like a card for free, but what I assume is probably they're shipping it directly from the factory probably to you.
Yeah.
So it'd be a logistics nightmare to try and get the card with the figure, since it's not going back to Skylanders and in and out. So I'll give them a pass for that.
Sure.
But yes, it's pretty cool. Figure there. It's the same size, but the normal figures looks like. It's definitely 3D printed, so it's not like the plastics. If you get it, it's not going to look like your plastic figures you get in the store. It's gonna. If you ever seen a 3D printed thing, it kind of has like a little bit of fuzz look to it. But still looks pretty cool. And again, the whole entire concept of it's pretty awesome. And obviously, hopefully, this is something if they continue with the Imagineers that they could potentially improve upon when technology increases. But
Sure.
Still pretty cool. Regardless, again, they said it's going to be a limited thing. I'm curious how limited it's going to be. Like, because my problem I foresee with it is if figures come out in 2017, each Sensei unlocks new items or
Right.
new arm type stuff like that. What if you really like falling in love with something like that? Now you're stuck because you couldn't create your actual thing you wanted to create. So
Well,
I'm more than likely going to try and. I mean, I'll order one like the first week.
yeah.
Just whenever I'm happy with the first week, just like it's something, and then then maybe order another one down the road if I find something else I like better.
Yeah. These definitely scream giveaways, don't you think?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Yeah, and they said they're actually going to do some giveaways with it as well.
I meant for just you and I.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm for
Sure.
for everybody else, they let you create yours for free. But my favorite part about the entire thing, is that how they're transferring it from your console to the app because it's an actual app. The Cartoon Network thing, I guess, was more so might be a contest coming up. So I think that was just a contest. They're going to feature like the best ones or something like that. So I'm glad to see that wasn't the full details on that.
Right.
But so you don't have to create an account. You don't have to sync services. On your console, you're like, send it to the app, put your phone next to your TV, and it sends a bunch of dial-up tone kind of noises. not obnoxious, but it's more sparkly noises.
Sure.
Sounds like almost like a Disney Infinity sparkles that they had.
It's like Spotify.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's on your app, and it's freaking awesome. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm really gonna be tempted to just edit record some of the sound clips and just edit them together and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like set false ones.
Sure.
See what it does. But yeah, so that's super interesting. And I think it's great for for the kids aspect of it. Just because it's much easier for a parent for the kids to transfer it over without worry about online accounts or anything like that. So shout out to them. I'm actually really excited about that part. I think it's pretty cool.
That's a super creative way to go around that problem. Like, it would have been easy for it to, like, you create a thing and then it spits out like a 16-digit number, based on all the different factors that you could possibly have for all the different combinations or something like that. Then you just plug in the number to your phone. This is fun, and like, this is speaking to the audience that they're trying to get money from. So good on them.
Yeah, definitely makes magic. The one downside people have is that you can obviously make anything from the console and put it over to the app, but you can't make something on the app and then send it back to your console version. Obviously, that has to deal with the technology it has, so not every console has a microphone.
Right.
So it deals with that. Obviously, they could have gotten around that with creating an account and stuff like that then, but that's just, too much work then.
Yeah.
And again, if worse comes to worse, you can just re-edit it when you get there, but it's not the most fluid thing in the world, but still, it's
sure.
Again, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's exciting. Like you said, I'm curious to see how well this goes over. I definitely see people being interested in the figures. The price point might be a little bit high.
Sure.
Hard to say at this point. Definitely good holiday presents.
Yep.
Kind of like those customizable controllers that Xbox rolled out. Like, everybody's not just going to go out and order just a customized controller just, on a whim just because, but parents and friends that are like, hey, I'd really like to get, this person their own special controller with a little engraving and that kind of stuff. This speaks to that same type of market where, parents are seeing kids play with, like, they're creating these characters. Kids have crazy imaginations that are going to go all over the place with this game, but they will eventually settle on, like, certain characters that they absolutely love that they made. It would be cool for parents to be able to take that, get one made, and then, like, you know, for a Christmas present, be like, here, remember this Skylander that you made in game that you've been playing with? Now you have it for reals.
For reals.
Such a great idea.
Yeah,
So,
it's yeah. So I'm like I said, I'm excited to do it on there. I was curious to see how people were going to react to the $50 price point.
Yeah,
and most people are kind of understanding about it.
Sure.
You know, like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, it's you know, it is what it is. I mean, again, just expecting, you know, how people react to people. I was afraid people were like, oh, it should be like 25 tops. You know, so people are like acknowledge like, oh, it's expensive, but you know, it's understanding and, you know, just do it once or stuff like that. So
right.
I think $50 is more than fair.
Yeah, it's about probably the top of where it should be.
Sure.
Yeah, and the cards were 15, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
That feels high.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, especially when you could buy like a pack of amiibo cards,
right?
For like $6. You know,
and it's not like the 3D printing, which, you know, 3D printing is not necessarily like each is a mold because it just does it out of magic in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make it, but you know, printing card, it doesn't matter what you put on it; it's just the same thing. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess maybe they're just that. I mean, it looks high quality from what they showed.
Sure.
So it is a high quality print. But yeah, it's still.
But the printers aren't spitting out one card at a time. I mean, you're printing full sheets of them. You know, so
right. Yeah, so who knows? Might just be a thing that, again, it's that itself, that part seems like it's a little bit more of a, you know, who else is doing that as far as making custom things that have an NFC chip in them.
Yeah.
So I think you might be paying for all the new equipment that has to be done because it's a new thing that has to be done. So it's a little bit pricey just because unfortunately it's a newer thing.
You're helping build the foundation for something bigger and better.
Right.
T-shirts, I don't see many people getting.
No. Not at all.
Seems...
And I was not impressed with the t-shirt quality at all.
No, it didn't look good.
It looked like an
print.
awful beach screen print.
Yeah,
like the ones you get at the beach.
Yeah, maybe they just picked the wrong character to show it off, but it was just
yeah.
I don't know. That didn't grab me and be like, I want to wear that around.
Yeah. You know, when I saw it, I was like, ugh. I mean, to be fair, there's no like male or female, I should say, no adult Skylander shirts really.
Right.
So I mean, at least you have something. Because again, like when the game comes out, like on launch day, like I'm not gonna have anything to wear per se.
Sure.
So at least gives you something like that. Again, you can. If I make one, I'll make like a stupid thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna make my legit one. It'll just be something stupid on there. But
sure. But I mean, it's not even like even if they're just aiming at like the kid audience, like I wouldn't let any of my kids like wear that kind of shirt. You know, because it's just like it doesn't look good. And plain and simple. Right. Maybe the final project is going to be different. It's hard to say from the video, but that's all we have to judge it on. So
sure,
that's what we got to do. All right. Well, moving right along, let's handle the community question, shall we?
Let's do it.
The community question this week is sponsored by our friend Evan Parker, aka the Lone Goldfish. You can follow him on Twitch at twitch.tv/thelonegoldfish. He's checked out LEGO Dimensions. He firmly believes LEGO Dimensions is not his type of game. He doesn't like the aspect of running around and just breaking things and collecting stuff. And that's pretty much the core essential mechanic of a LEGO game. So, as I told him and as we've told everybody that wanted to talk about LEGO Dimensions since it released, base how you feel about other LEGO games when you decide if you're going to jump into LEGO Dimensions, because the gameplay is exactly like every other LEGO game. If you don't like other LEGO games, this game is not for you, regardless of the Toys to Life aspect of it. That doesn't change anything, Right. So just know that going forward, just a cautionary tale. If you're not a fan of how basic LEGO games play, then LEGO Dimensions, just move on. It's okay. Like Lone Goldfish did. He's gonna go back to Skylanders in a couple weeks, and he's happy about it. Community question of the week. We are going to award a mystery box to the winner to the best response of the week for this community question. Mystery box will have at least 3 items in it that I will personally handpick and ship your way. I have one ready to go out the door to a winner a couple weeks ago, our friend Adam. So you could be the recipient of another one. The question this week was, if you had a sea of options and could have any customized Toys to Life figure you could think of, what would it be? And then I immediately kind of had to clarify, like, hey, let us know which franchise it would be for, too. Not just like I want a Captain Hook figure. Well, Captain Hook like Disney Infinity, or do you want Captain Hook in Lego Dimensions? Like, be specific type of thing. So
Sure.
We got some good responses to this week, Jason.
We did.
As we always do. You want to read through them?
Yeah. So we got Lone Goldfish, sponsored question here. He says Darkwing Duck. Long's Toy said, I love a Lego minifigure that looked like me, which sounds easy, but I wanted to be 100% accurate, which is hard. Which is hard too, because the same thing with me, like with any kind of, whether it's me's or anything, like every time I make them, like I feel like I have a basic haircut, basic face, like I just feel like I'm just a generic average human person, you know? And I was like, but I can never create any kind of adaptation of me.
Right.
But I think it's because I don't have like a unique trait to my face, I think it's just, so it's just normal, if you have a unique thing, then you can kind of add that in. You're like, okay, that's my chin or something,
You're too basic is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But Got him watch him off tweeting in says Nintendo really needs to hit that Pokemon button. Other than that, a zoo sim with realistic animal figures would be cool. Rose of Death says, being a Punch-Out fan, all the characters would be a nice collection, even one as Mike Tyson, maybe one of Ozzy being a bat. James Holian says, how about the only unreleased Infinity figure that would actually work inside the game? Guess who? Peter Pan. Just kidding, Infinity. Tommy's Mommy 14 says, a Jack in the Box. KO Hedgehog says, a customizable me that has a villain costume. His name, Shopkins Inquirer. There you go. Shiny Misty says, an already existing character, Eggman. No question. My own character. My main character to a story I am making. Alan Wilkinson
I want to hear
says,
more about that.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this story.
That's true. I thought maybe he just meant in just a terms by VM. I wonder if he has an actual idea or not. Alan Wilkinson says Noah's Ark. Seriously though, did I tell you that joke? Have you heard that joke?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I gave the answer away. But do you know who the ultimate Pokemon master is?
Noah's Ark?
Noah is. He called them all twice. Seriously though, probably Vmon from Digimon as an amiibo with his armor eggs as amiibo cards. Relatedly, I once suggested YouTuber TJ Omega from Cloud's amiibo, but then Cloud never came out. Hopefully one day. Matthew Johnson says having a minifigure in one's likeness so that one could put themselves into the game and be a part of their favorite franchises, making for the ultimate meta experience in LEGO Dimensions or a new game altogether. Timothy Weber says, I would get LEGO Dimensions and the figure I would want be as Marty McFly from Back to the Future, customized with his 2015 suit. DM Hugo says, how about classic Ariel, since they finally figured out swimming for Disney Infinity, of course.
So true.
AJ Tulip says, a amiibo box that puts you in your favorite games. David got called I apologize for this. David called Calderella? Eat Sleep Game 8. We'll go that way. Calderella. There you go. Sorry, David. Definitely a bronze Mario amiibo or a rose gold Mario amiibo exclusive to Walmart, of course. Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Atari Ox's Disney Infinity figures of the Black Pearl and Captain Jack Sparrow's compass to help me navigate said sea of options. That's pretty funny. Part of me still wants Studio Ghibli and Disney Afternoon properties for Disney Infinity. Sorry, we nearly had Darkwing Duck. As for Amiibo, full Wind Waker set a la the camera challenges in game would totally break my bank. Jeff Grimes 23 says Bill and Ted team pack for LEGO Dimensions. They could borrow the TARDIS for their time travels. Different kind of geek says a robot armor Kirby amiibo with interchangeable copy ability bots. It would be so cute. Obviously for Kirby Planet Robobot. Yeah, I'm bummed we never got a big old robot.
Mm-hmm. That was too obvious.
Billy J Dog says Armor Suit Batman and Lightseekers because I'm the knight. Also, if I can be Batman, why be anything else? Amen.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're getting another Batman in LEGO Dimensions.
That's right, man. He looks sweet.
Yeah.
Amiibo Migo just puts the strawberry emoji, drops the mic. William Thorndike, Red Eyes 070 says a giant Lego Dimensions character made up of regular Lego Dimensions characters. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then finally, of course, Shoppers Inc. already says, already got mine, and put the Funko Shopkins that was made by Tori.
Yes.
Pretty awesome.
What's your favorite, Jason?
Alex has made me laugh.
Yeah.
I do, and I know a lot of people. A couple of people said about the making your own Lego Dimensions character would be fun.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Alex?
Sure.
Alex, congratulations, my friend. Humor won out this week. The sea of options got to Jason's heart. As much as he'd like to not admit that, it happened. So, Alex, you got a mystery box coming your way, my friend. And we know Alex is going to do an unboxing on Periscope. So, that makes the challenge of me making the mystery box even more exciting.
Please put elephant poop in there. Or a glitter bomb. That'd be fantastic.
Ooh. See, you can't be talking about it on the podcast, though.
He won't listen to this for 3 weeks.
That's true. He'll get it before he listens to this podcast. Let's see. We have an Inquire This question. It's one I've been holding on to. This is from our friend Brian. He says, I challenge you. Oh, Inquire This. Sorry, I just went right into it. Inquire This. What's that?
So, geez Louise.
I know. I'm a rookie. 91 episodes. Inquire This is a trivia segment where we encourage you, the listeners, to write in with different trivia questions relating to the franchises that we cover here on this podcast. They don't have to be directly related, but basically anything that we talk about. And we try to stump the expert, Jason, with said questions. Even the toughest ones he sometimes usually gets. And that's kind of frightening because I don't know if anybody should know as much about Toys to Life as you do, Jason, but here we are.
Some people know useful knowledge like how to do taxes.
Sure.
And I knew fun facts about Toys to Life.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got you a spot on this show, so.
That's true.
Yeah. It's worked out well for you, I think. Brian writes in and says, Dear Brick Builders, this week I challenge you with a Toys to Life question from Japan.
Ooh.
The Kamen Rider Summon Riders.
Kamen Rider,
Summon Riders. We've been over that before, I'm sure. How many different packs were available in 2015?
What?
He says, if that was too easy, name all the riders available in game. That's a trick question because no one can name them all.
I'm gonna go with.
Here, I'll give you
16.
a hint. I'll give you a hint. There is one con exclusive.
And that's included?
Yeah.
Well, if I was going to say 16, I will say 17.
Sorry.
It's probably like 7.
You're wrong. It's
Man.
10. It's 10.
Ugh.
9, and the 10th is the con exclusive, so. We do not know enough about Kamen Rider. As you can tell, we've thought about it, but it just hasn't grabbed anyone's interest here in the United States enough to warrant a discussion about it. Really,
Sure.
Let's be real. It's a thing. I have them on my shelf. They look cool, but that's about it. Thank you, Brian, for writing that in. There's no way in the world Jason was going to get that, but he came pretty close.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was a good laugh.
That was good. Let's finish up with a couple little emails. Us recording so early prevented some people from writing in. I understand that. Trying to get everybody a heads up that we needed them in early, but what can you do? I had to specifically call out Alex by name in order to drum up his email just in time. So if I have to start doing that with everybody else, I will. Don't put it past me here, folks.
Don't put it past me.
I will. So we have 2 emails to read. First one was the second half of the Adam Tuttle email. which was not for the Lightseekers team. And he says, "Hey guys, just want to say I am excited for Skylanders Imaginators." He wrote it like that, Jason. I gotta read it. He says, "Well,
wish this was a video one so you could see me shaking my head."
Not necessary. I feel it from here." He says, "Well, really, the hunt for the chase variant. I will be spending my morning going to retailers upon open, then ending at GameStop to pick up the Dark Edition and Chaos figure. How will you both be spending your launch day? Which figure or figures do you predict to have chase variants? Thanks for being the #1 podcast for just about everything."
Yeah, so I'm hoping still that Toys R Us does a midnight thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some stores, which I haven't checked my local store yet, but they have those calendars at the front of the store that give you like upcoming events.
Oh, sure.
Some have shown like they're opening an hour early, which they typically do.
Okay.
Some have put like a TBD, so like to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't really said either way whether they're going to be doing it or not. I'm hoping to do because I would love to go out at midnight for that. But beyond that, you definitely go there. Then probably just wait for, my Amazon package on Monday.
Right.
But if, the thing we even talk about too is Matt posted a picture of the box that from the Toys R Us backroom that shows Wave 2 in dated forward same day as Wave 1.
Told you.
So, no, you said the next day.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Maybe you're right.
So, but the interesting thing with this though is that it does show it's like Mystic Cat. Like it didn't say like this is a 6 different figures in there, so it's one box per figure. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with stuff. So if everything comes out Toys R Us, especially if they have a launch deal, then I'll have to get those and return them to Amazon. So who knows?
Sure.
Or maybe if they're all there, even if I have to pay a little bit higher premium, I don't really care. I just like going to Toys R Us and picking them all up.
Yep.
So
Yep. It's still fun.
Yep. So then, again, we haven't heard anything about the Nitro series. A couple of Targets have been putting some stuff out, and we haven't seen anything of them, so I don't think they're going to have any kind of exclusive variant at all. GameStop was rumored to have that Halloween one. I mean, obviously, someone has to have it like day one because you can't. It's Halloween like 15 days later, so they got to get it out there. So it seems like it's GameStop. I haven't heard anything. I don't think it's even shown up in the system at all. So
sure.
Might try.
I thought it had shown up in the GameStop system, but that was it. But it wasn't labeled as like exclusive. But that was the only place it's been seen.
No, it was seen on 2 international retailers.
Okay.
As far as I remember,
Sure.
But yeah. So like I said, probably go Toys R Us and everything. Chase variants. I don't foresee any. Like I said, I still hope they do a starter pack variant, but
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll do something crazy and do like an adventure pack variant or one of those combo pack things. But yeah, I just hope they do a midnight thing. It's much more fun. But we'll see what happens.
I don't know which figures will be possible chase variants, but I'm going to throw out 2 predictions of what like the color scheme of the chases will be this year. One, I'm thinking some sort of like ice motif.
Sure.
Make it look like they're frozen. Don't know why. Just feels like that's a possibility.
Sure.
Second one, rainbow.
Yeah?
Yep. I think they're going to go full color. Just embrace the color. Imaginators, man.
That's true.
Kids, imaginations, like, just go crazy with it. Also, I just really want Pinata, so, like, that's...
Yeah, I think, I'm trying to look at, Starcast, the one of the throwing stars, that screams a variant to me.
Yeah.
They'll do a chase variant of him. Maybe Aurora. Yeah, I'll say my 3 picks would be Starcast, Aurora, and Ambush. That would be my 3 bets. One of those 3.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy launch day. I don't have set plans yet, but definitely be picking up the Dark Edition and the Crash Edition and going from there with it. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's a Sunday. It's a great day for it.
Great day.
Also, totally forgot to mention, and I definitely apologize to sponsor of. It was going to be a sponsor of the Lightseekers segment, but we just got right into the interview. So I was going to have him the sponsor of the email segment, and then we just got right into emails. Christopher Long, over at Long's Toys. Can't forget about our good friend Christopher. Go over and follow him on Twitter at CLong83. Check out his YouTube content, youtube.com/user/Long's Toys. Sorry about that, Christopher. I really am. But we have one more email, Jason.
I'm ready.
This one's from Guadalupe. Guadalupe says, "Hello, guys. Since you obviously have so many plans for episode 100, you wouldn't mind a little suggestion from little old me, right? So, if it's possible, maybe you guys could do a live episode where you do live calls and emails from the community and even have Skype conversations with guests that may or may not owe their existence thanks to you. Cough, Jason number 2, cough. Think about it. Either way, look forward to your big 109 episodes." So should we bring on the little people that we've helped create, like Jason number 2?
The little people. I think we should invite Jason number 2 and make this big old deal, and then like as soon as he accepts, like give him like 5 seconds and then hang up and just move on.
Oh, that would be classic.
I will say I have been working on, we've been talking about it before about doing live stuff, so I've been working somewhat on it too, so it's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
I will say, since the last episode we recorded, I have actually been thinking about episode 100, and off air, Jason, I want to run an idea past you that I'm currently having that I think would suit us well. So things are starting to happen behind the scenes, folks. I promise. A little bit, slowly, but they're happening. That's about it for this episode, man.
Solid episode. I'm glad we got to talk to Lightseekers people. We've been excited for that for a while, so I'm glad we got to talk to them.
Mm-hmm. They've been super busy, trying to push out this marketing campaign for the game. And we've been trying to schedule with them. Of course, them being in the UK, it was a little bit trickier than usual, but we made it happen. We were glad to make it happen, absolutely. And, I mean, kind of coincided perfectly with their Kickstarter that's launching tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
Everything kind of just fell in place with that. So that was really cool and encouraging. So,
yeah, super excited to see it in there. Yeah, like we said this. I mean, I texted you about it. We didn't say anything to them, but I don't mind quarreling about it in person. But I was kind of nervous when we said about them doing a Kickstarter, just because again, Kickstarters don't ever have. I just don't foresee it being in a store then or something like that. This is only going to be an online. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that they're going to have to break the normal Kickstarter mold with then. So I mean, obviously hope for the best.
Yeah.
But it was a little disheartening at first, but they seem to be very passionate about it. Seem to be knowing what they're doing. They seem to have a plan. So I'll withhold judgment, think that I'll trust them. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. And like I brought up Beasts of Balance. When they were first announced and they launched their Kickstarter, they went in thinking that they were just going to be selling online, and that was it. And now they have secured some in-store retail locations that their games are going to be sold, and because their Kickstarter was so successful, it allowed them the opportunity to do bigger things and to get their game out to a bigger audience once it launches in a couple months. So we do have that precedent already set. Hopefully Lightseekers goes the same route. I did feel like I needed to ask them about like games that have soured people on the idea of Kickstarter.
Sure.
Mighty Number 9, for example, like totally different kind of game and whatnot. But I mean, people backed that game and then 3 years later finally got the game, and it wasn't really the game they thought it was going to be. And most people haven't even got like the rewards for the game. There's a version of the games that were promised to certain backers that haven't come out yet. And just it became a mess. And instances like that, very big, well talked about issues have soured, I think, the general audience to Kickstarters, or at least made people more cautious when they go into Kickstarters. You know, if it's like a $5 backing or whatever, like most people are, whatever. You know, like Val, I talk to her about Kickstarter all the time. She's told me over the years she's kickstarted so many things she can't even remember, you know, usually for like a few bucks, but she never thinks about like collecting on them once they come to fruition and all that stuff, because it's just like, oh, this is a cool thing, I'm going to give you a few bucks to get this going. And, you know, she out of sight, out of mind type of thing, totally forgets that she has some sort of reward for backing it at some circumstance. So,
Sure.
Yeah. Kickstarter is a funny thing, you know?
Yeah, I think I kickstarted 3 things so far. One I actually forgot about. A friend of mine, I mean, this was back in 2011. Doing a trip over to Austria for he got into a high regarded like singing college program thing.
Okay.
So he needed for that. So it's funny because it was back before like GoFundMe was around.
Sure.
So you had to use Kickstarter for that. Because I forgot when I walked in, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Was on this, you know?
Yeah.
Fabulous
Which
Beast
totally isn't a platform for that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Fabulous Beast, obviously. And then most recently, totally got in that fidget cube.
Okay.
Have you seen about that?
Mm-hmm.
$15,000 goal. They're currently sitting at $5.5 million.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Watching that video makes me anxious.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
do you fidget?
Yeah, big time.
Oh, that's like all I do at work is fidget.
Yeah. But like I do it because of anxiety.
Oh.
Not because like I'm not stimulated, or, you know, like there's many different reasons why people fidget, you know, like they're bored or like they just physically need to be touching something. I do it like out of anxiety. So like watching the video of like people fidgeting with a thing, I'm like like I started like just getting overwhelmed with anxiety, and like I started to feel like I needed that badly. I'm like, that's a bad road to start going down right off the bat.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like I think it all ties into my multitasking kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I fidget a lot.
Sure.
And it was funny too because when I was over at Amy's house one time helping her pack, it was when the Olympics were going on. So Amy was telling me about where she wanted me like something to go, like because I was helping her getting stuff all packed around. And I was watching the soccer game like while I was listening to her, and her mom was like, "Jason," I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Are you even listening?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Guys cannot multitask." I was like, "Oh, please, you don't even know." I was like, "You don't even know."
I am in 4 places right now. You can't even tell.
Yeah, I'm excited to get that fidget cube. I think it's going to come in super handy at work. I'll start to get a couple of them because I'm afraid I'm going to break them.
Sure. Yeah, fidget too much with it.
I think they're going to get enough funding though that they'll go to retail, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can see it at Target. Sharper image, maybe.
Sharper image. The best back massages in the business.
I feel like Kohl's has a sharper image section.
That's true. That's 100%. Gift area, all sharper image.
They're just using Kohl's as like a front, but I think that like whole back section behind like the men's ties is just a sharper image business front.
If I was my age, like 10 years ago when Sharper Image was like the biggest thing, I totally would have loved to work at a Sharper Image.
Oh, God.
Just the random stuff that they sell.
Yep.
So good.
So yeah, Lightseekers, again, we'll be tweeting out and everything, giving as much information as we can on the Kickstarter once that officially launches. But again, thank you to them, the team, for joining us. It was a lot of fun talking to them. Hopefully, as we get closer and closer to the launch of the game, we could maybe have somebody back and talk about it. But it was good to get some new information that our audience hadn't heard yet about it, and we were definitely excited to talk to him. So, Jason, where can people find you at?
Yeah, you can always find me personally on Twitter, twitter.com/JasonInquires. And obviously all the Toys Life-centric accounts of Brick Inquirer, Skylanders Inquirer, and Lightseekers Inquirer. Available on all your social networks as well.
Excellent. You could find me personally on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. Be sure to follow the show at Toys for Games. You could email us, podcast@toysforgames.com. Check out the website, toysforgames.com, of course. Facebook group, always exciting stuff over there, facebook.com/groups/toys for games. Join up, hang out with Ken and the family. It's a lot of fun. And then if you'd like to support us and what we do here, you could do so over at Patreon, patreon.com/toys4games. With that being said, Jason, it's been one heck of a show, my friend, but we have to turn around and we need to record a quick limited edition version real quick.
Backwards.
We're doing it backwards today because we're crazy wild. Until next time, happy hunting, collectors.